Thank you very much, Irish, and thank you very much, Idea, for calling, for inviting me and to come and speak in this conference. And so I'll go straight to the point, like what can we do to tackle gender inequality? And also I'll connect that with COVID and what COVID has done to us. And I'll also, more important, because I think this is very important for this conference, talk about some of the inequalities which we see here at AkiDwA, which I think maybe are going to inform what I'm going to say in the next 7 minutes. And so like it's also important that we look at gender and what gender means to us and even to different people, and especially to the migrant woman here in Ireland. And the migrant woman I'm talking about today is the one in the DPs and also the one who is settled, and also the girls and even the boys sometimes who are here. And who, as Eric said, sometimes they face a lot of challenges in their day-to-day lives. And these challenges, even before COVID struck, they were there. There was a gulf. Like they were at the bottom of the heap. And so what happened when COVID struck? It widened. Like what was going wrong before COVID, it was amplified 5 times or 10 times actually in some cases. And here, I'll speak to what is happening to some of the women, for example, because I've also want to look at the SDGs and how achievable they are or attainable, because now COVID hit. That's something to think, we need to think about that one. I'll just put it at the parking bay for us just to reflect, like what do we need to reset the button and how far and how attainable are SDGs now because of what COVID has thrown in the mix. And so I've said that what was going wrong before COVID, now it's been amplified, just do times 10. And so then let's look at again, like what's happening to the women and the challenges and the challenges which are currently present, and they were there. I just want to look at just once more detail of what is going on, for example, because this is what we see when we go to the centers, and even the phone calls we get here, like, no, I've just disconnected the landline so that nobody calls when I'm speaking to you. And for example, just one small thing, we have a lot of women here in the centers who are single mothers. And then these women are already disadvantaged, living in very small rooms with their children, 2 or 3. And then COVID hit and they had to do homeschooling. What that meant, it exposed the children to a lot of, it showed us the digital divide, because the women, for example, did not have the necessary infrastructure to help their children to study at home. And then that means that already children who are already disadvantaged, who are vulnerable parents, vulnerable families, they were left behind. There was that lag, for example. We need to look at that lag, that they are not at the same place with the others. So let's also look at this. Let's focus on this as also we think about even global education and global citizenship. What is going to happen to these children already? Because now you can see they are already 1 year behind, 6 months behind, 9 months behind, and we want them to compete at an even keel, and I'm sorry to use that word, at an even level with the others. So I'll not give an answer to that because I want us to think about that. And then for us to move from what is going on, even in gender equality, development, because sometimes they have to come together, we cannot leave one behind. How much are we willing, as we move from COVID, as we move from the COVID situation, and as we forge a new path, how much are we willing to consult those people who are already disadvantaged, who are already vulnerable? Because I know when we talk about power, we forget that power, actually, it's not even sometimes about giving it. No, sometimes we don't need to give anybody any power. We just need to recognize and to acknowledge the power the other person has. Because I believe, I come from a development education, the one the last speaker was talking about, which recognizes that everybody, no matter how disadvantaged, no matter where they live, no matter where they are, that they have power. What you need to do is just to acknowledge it and be patient enough and bring it out and talk to somebody in such a way that which will acknowledge and respect that, and that person will start slowly by slowly coming alive and saying, this is what I'd like, and drawing a small picture. It may not be perfect, but that picture will be drawn about what they would like and where they would like to go. So as we reset the button, how willing are we look at power, to look at different types of power, acknowledge them, so that we can bring the best out of everybody, so that also we can ask the people who, like, which direction they would like to move towards, and even how they would like, and yeah. And because I think that would be something important for us to address. And I think I have now 3 minutes, and so I feel that will keep the sense of global citizenship alive. And then education, I've given an example of those children already who are already behind. A rights-based recovery, that is very, very important. And I also remember what the first speaker said, that the UDHR was one of the bestest gifts we were ever given. And there's no time to call for that, to emphasize on the UDHR and that roadmap which you are given, and then also the other conventions and human rights whatever which have come to being and which speak directly to the rights of women and girls. There's no better time than now. And then we marry that with the SDGs, and I know that we'll end up to a very, very beautiful direction, and a very good outcome will be realized. And because I'm also conscious of the fact that sometimes we may talk about these things here when we are in these spaces with idea, but the people who are most affected may not know about them. I'm also conscious of the fact that I cannot go maybe to the village or where I used to work in Kenya before I came here and start telling them about SDGs, because they may not even know what that is. Maybe the language and other things may not. But we all know, Erich, you taught me, there are ways we can employ, and this message will reach people who are very far away from us. And with that distance, maybe we may look at distance as maybe 10,000 kilometers, but sometimes distance can be also in terms of knowledge. Those people who are already here, and they don't know, and maybe the awareness has not been created. We come up with ways to bridge that, and that would be lovely, and that is something which maybe we can consider as we look at how we can support a rights-based recovery that ensures equality for everyone. And so I think I want to thank you, and maybe I'll stop there, and maybe I'll wait for questions. Thank you very much.